Hello people, welcome back to another video. Before we get things started, I just wanted to say the support on the last video really fucking boosted my mood, and I want to make another video for you guys. I think the video is currently at 500 something views, which I think is amazing. This is my first rodeo with something like this. But today, I'm bringing you bad games that are good. 2. Same rules as the last time. These games can qualify as buggy to all hell, poor mechanics, shit story, or hell, all 3. I just want to say thank you for watching. Now let's get into it.
Hello?
Somebody light a fire, someone changing the game just a little higher. Reach up and cut the wires, why don't you stand on your own for a little while? Somebody step on the brakes, cause I see nothing but confusion beaming from place to place. I hear 1,000 different voices and I can't concentrate. And now I'm wondering what kind of creatures running this place. So come on, grab the wheel, somebody hold the controls, give me something real.
The infamous RE3 remake. Man, oh man, I could not skip the chance to talk about this one for 3 prime reasons. 1, I'm a diehard RE fan. 2, I love Jill Valentine. And 3,
an opportunity to put those women in their place.
Yeah.
Now, I couldn't miss my chance to talk about a badass female protagonist, shout out Jill, but RE3 Remake has kinda left a bit of a sully on the Resident Evil franchise. Now, before I get into any of that, why don't I dish out the compliments first before I give it the shit tsunami? For starters, the game looks amazing. It's made in Capcom's RE engine, and if you don't know, that's the same engine DMC5 is made in. Where's your motivation? Alright nigga, that's 2 jokes from the last video. Come on, speed it up, where's the new shit? And the game also plays amazingly. It's pretty much RE2 Remake again, but with a few features to spice it up and not make it a copy and paste of the last game. Now the game has style points in looks and mechanics, so what the hell's the problem with it? Well, this game is a remake, and basing off the original, man oh man how bad did they fuck up this time.
You mean the alley that's on fire?
Maybe. Surely a tall drink of water like yourself can put out a few flames.
Now, I'm not gonna dwindle on dialogue because I swear like a goddamn sailor, and if somebody were to write in the comments I was written by Busy Pop, I wouldn't be mad. But there is a thing that I need to bring up to the jury which regards the dialogue in this game. Now, RE dialogue has always been cheesy. That's kind of the charm of the game. But there's a subtle difference between the cheesy dialogue and the action versus whatever the fuck this is.
It's my turn, bitch!
Hey! Fuckface!
Come on! Next time, take the fucking hit!
Now I know every RE game is cheesy with dialogue, and I don't expect the legacy of Kane, but it's just kind of funny to bring up Jill Valentine saying fuck and my turn, bitch! Sounds like Freddy fucking Krueger. Now time to get done with all the little nitpicks. It's time to talk about what makes this game bad. This game suffers from cut content! Now the cut content isn't anything like small little details that was akin to the PS1 version of the game, or hell, just some small mechanics that didn't age too well in the first game. No, the remake cuts content that was actually crucial to the goddamn game. Now, I don't know making a game from a hole in the wall, but I'm sure if you're remaking a game, you're supposed to faithfully adapt it to keep the core fan base and the newcomers. But Capcom was like, we don't know how to fucking do that. But they do! It's called RE2 Remake, and it keeps the core game and adds shit new for the new generation. So I don't know what the fuck happened with this one. I could ramble for days on what the fuck they cut and took out, but I'm gonna keep this short and give a few examples, just off the top of my head, to start the critique here. They cut down the size of Raccoon City. I'm gonna show the maps right now, and they might look similar and full of size, but trust me, they are not the same thing. The original Raccoon City on the PS1 felt like you were actually moving through a destroyed city. Want to go down the road, cars blocking the way, take the back alleys. The back alley is blocked by zombies. You go through a building, it actually felt like you were inching your way through a city that was destroyed in its damnedest hours. Even more than going through the actual city, you had key locations like the gas station, Raccoon City Park. It just felt like you were moving through a city that took time to get point A to point B. Now the remake, they removed the clock tower, they removed the gas station, they removed Raccoon City Park, and now you're just left with 2 big ass streets with alleyways in the middle to connect them. it just feels so much smaller than what the fucking PS1 was to accomplish in this game on the PS4. I can't even imagine a cope someone would say like, well, maybe it was a technical issue. They had a bigger map on the PS1. I wasn't even born when that thing came out. So how the fuck is the remake map smaller, cunt? Now, besides removing key locations of the game, they also removed some boss fights, some interaction features, just shit that just like, why even remake the game if you're gonna remove so much to the original identity of RE3? Now, to give a little idea on how much stuff they cut, the original PS1 game is like 4 to 5 hours long. Knowing exactly what to do could be longer depending how you vary with puzzles. The remake in itself, it can be beaten in under 3 hours. 2 or 1 if you know what you're doing exactly. And a final note of what makes the remake just so is the whole thing with Nemesis. Nemesis in the PS1 version was no fucking joke. Now in the remake, Nemesis is kind of a fucking joke. All it takes is one flash grenade and you basically escape that entire encounter. So to wrap up this part of the video, RE3 Remake is just not a proper experience to play RE3. Now I get it, some people can't just play the PS1 version. Hell, I'm only 21 and I've never been in the same room with a PS1. But there are some unethical methods to obtain the copy of the game. I'm not going to say how, but if you were to mod a PS Vita or some shit or emulation, things might happen. So the takeaway with RE3 Remake is that it is a dumbed down version of the original with cut content and just everything removed that would made it RE3 Nemesis. Now, do I think it's a gateway into wanting to play the original? Yeah, it is a modern adaptation of the original. It's not the best, but if someone likes the character Jill Valentine and Raccoon City in itself and wants more that the remake couldn't give them, I feel like the original is the best way to play it. The remake is beautiful, it plays well, it's just missing everything that made RE3 RE3. But I'm going to end this part of the video now, and we're going to go ahead to our next game. Whew. Hello again, people. I just want to give a little heads up in this brief intermission that this next game, it's a bit controversial, and I pondered on it for a bit to even throw it in the video, but then I realized something. This is my video, and I can say whatever I want.
You entitled cunt! You entitled fucking cunt!
But, hear me out. I don't think the game is bad necessarily. It just has things that can bring down somebody's experience to make it seem like it's a bad game. But enough with this little intermission. Time to roll back on schedule. Peace. Now I'm sure I don't need to introduce Dragon Ball Z whatsoever. Everybody and their mom knows what it is. Millions of people love it. And if you don't like Dragon Ball Z, you're a fucking twink and need to be shot. Don't at me. And today we're going to be talking about one of the most unique Dragon Ball Z games we've had in a very, very long time. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And to say this game is a game, it's surely a game amongst games. Yeah, all jokes aside, there's a lot of positives and I really do feel like there's a lot of negatives to be said. To start off, I don't really think this is a bad game, but it's the way the game is aged that I can't really confidently say to somebody like, yeah, I recommend you playing this. So this part of the video is going to be more of my opinion, but I do feel like what I have to say is valid, and I've had a chat with people that like this game that kind of got behind where I was coming from. So I'm going to dish that out, and if you agree with me, you agree with me. If you don't, you don't. It's my video. E rocks.
You're entitled fucking cunt!
A starting gripe I think no one should be opposed of is the sole fact this is supposed to be a modern retelling of the Dragon Ball Z story, but in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, they skip a lot of key details, a lot of key moments, and just act like it didn't happen. There's two good examples in the Cell saga. In Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, they skipped the entirety of Vegeta's Final Flash and Super Trunks fighting Perfect Cell.
If my father loses consciousness while fighting Cell, I'll step in. Come on, Vegeta, wake up!
That's it?
Remember, this is supposed to be a modern telling of the Dragon Ball Z story. This is supposed to keep the core fans and bring in newcomers. So imagine a newcomer getting to the Cell Saga, seeing Trunks and Vegeta get bitch slapped, while we're all like, that's not what the fuck happened. They got fucked up, but they went down with an actual fight.
Final Flash! Oh shit!
Oh yeah, don't you hate it when they remove content and sell it back to you as DLC when it should have been in the fucking main game in the first place? I'm looking at you, final fucking DLC. This is a retelling of Dragon Ball Z and you just don't add the ending? What kind of fucking bullshit is that?
Goku, your son's going to die and...
So removing key parts of the story and putting the rest behind the paywall is kind of fucking shitty. And I assume some people have a problem with that. I sure do. And if you don't, I assume you're the jackass EA would just loves spend $2.99 for a cosmetic. You like games, right, gamer? Metal Gear reference. Fuck off. Alright. Got a bit carried away. I guess I can throw in the positives before I go back to the negatives. The game looks nice when it fucking tries to. Now that one was a nitpick. Not every cutscene needs that top cinematic feel and look. But I would like, you know, they clearly had the budget, but didn't sprinkle it in there for little parts that needed it the most. Now another gripe that I feel like no one should oppose to who played the fucking game knows the combat and boss structures are very repetitive and you'll be doing the same thing for basically the entire game. And for the people who don't know who haven't played the game, pretty much the boss structures go into a battle, you fight them with the same circle combo, blah 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 blah, you throw in a triangle or maybe a fucking special move, and then once at a certain point they decide to go into a boss rush mode. In this boss rush mode they have super armor and they spam attacks and you can't really do damage to them, so you just have to evade because they can fuck you up in a fucking instant and it is just not fun. Now come take a look at this riveting Kakarot gameplay. Now, if only a few bosses were annoying like that, it could probably save the view of this game for me. But it's the fact that every boss is like that. They all have a super rush mode that you just gotta dodge and evade for the next 5 fucking minutes. Like, I turned the game off hard, not because I'm bad at it, get better, kid. It's more or less, the enemies aren't harder to fight, they're just harder to fight. Like, it's not a difficulty spike, it's just their endurance spike, and they take forever to fucking kill, and they get to spam the boss rush mode even more. It's just annoying. And yeah, Kakarot's an RPG, so you can theoretically go out, grind the side quests, explore the open world, level up, walk into a level 25 boss fight at level 95. But at a certain point with the game, you just stop doing that and just want to get the fucking game over with. And this game has no replay value because it's basic ass gameplay loop. You fought the first boss, good, you fought the rest of them.
That's it?
And the grind doesn't feel rewarding either because every transformation you get, every move you get is pretty much just handed to you. Especially just Super Saiyan transformations, they're handed to you. Like, yeah, you can grind for a Super Kamehameha, but it's just not that rewarding because you can just train for it after a mission, boom, you have it. You can just get it like that, and it's just, yeah, it's exactly how it sounds. It's an RPG without the RPG value. Now, I think it's about time I wrap up this part of the video, and here are my closing thoughts on Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, because I do like this game, even though I just tore into it. I'm going to say any positives. I do like the game. Yes, it may be basic. Yes, it might be repetitive, but I still love Dragon Ball Z, and this game is for the main DBZ fan base, the core of the fan base. But at the same time, they remove all the moments we liked. They put some we like behind paywalls. It's just, who is this game really even for? Because from an RPG standpoint, it's not that good. From a Dragon Ball Z standpoint, it's serviceable. So I'm just left with the feeling of like, this could have been so much more, but due to budgets, cuts, whatever, just didn't hit the nail. Do I recommend this to a new Dragon Ball Z fan? No. I'd tell you to go play Raging Blast, Tenkaichi, hell, fucking Xenoverse. But to a nigga that's loved Dragon Ball Z since I was born, yeah, I'd tell you to go play it.
Oh, that's that good shit!
Funny enough, I do like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I love the open world. I love this little shit you can do in the game. But you've already heard my gripes with it, and you do with that what you will. It's time we wrap this part of the video up and go to our final game.
No one hears the word.
Ever even finish your podcast, would they?
Does the memory gone? Are you feeling numb? Not a word.
Please be with you.
They say, but a voiceless crowd isn't backing down when the air turns red with a loaded hesitation. Can you say my name? Has the memory gone? Are you feeling numb? Have we all become invisible?
Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra? Maybe not.
Now, before we get things started, I just want to say I am a massive fan of the first Life is Strange game.
For what are you, homo?
And the Life is Strange IP has just been getting worse and worse after the first game that dropped in 2015. So we've had about a damn decade of shitty Life is Strange games. And today, I'm going to talk about them loosely. But there's one I want to talk about in particular, Life is Strange Before the Storm, because I believe is the best out of a bad situation. Now, before I get into too much detail on what made the series turn fucking sour, I need to tell you the plugins that led to it becoming fucking sour. The Life is Strange games are split into two paths, the Don't Nod games and then the Deck 9 games. I fucking hate Deck 9. Don't Nod is a French studio that produced the first and second Life is Strange games, and Deck 9 are the reasons we have Before the Storm, True Colors, and Double Exposure. Fuck! Now, real quick, let me sing the praises of the first game and set the stage here. Life is Strange 1 is a very, very well put together game. It's complex, and for what it is, and the style of gameplay it is, a choice-based narrative focused game, it's really well put together with the themes of time travel, corruption, suicide. It's just a lot of shit compacted in one game, and it flows really, really well.
Back to the plate, For years, it has been my goal to acquire the secret formula for...
And even bouncing off into Life is Strange 2, it deals with very complex topics like racism, police brutality, corruption, etc., etc. Just in those Don't Nod games, they had consequences with actions and actual grit to the story. Now, Deck 9's Life is Strange games, they don't understand what Life is Strange is or was, because they pretty much turned the games into dating sims, rom-coms, just shit that wasn't like 1 or 2. But there isn't a lack of an attempt, it just falls really, really flat.
Go to hell.
You're probably thinking, alright, you love the first 2 Life is Strange games and hate Deck 9's games, but no, I love the first Life is Strange game. I really don't like 2. And Before the Storm, I really like it, but I also dislike it for the problems that plague the series later in the line. It's really the calm before the storm.
He said it!
Now let's get into the nitty gritty. Life is Strange Before the Storm was the first Life is Strange game Deck 9 developed, and it is a prequel to the first Life is Strange game. It takes place 3 years before the main game, and our main character is our favorite flawed character, Chloe Price.
Jesus, I shot myself!
Now, Before the Storm is an in-depth look on Chloe during the years after her dad died and the years Max moved away, her best friend, for those who never played the first game, and a standalone DLC or game exploring a character. I like that. That's a good idea, but here's where the problems start to arise. See, in the main game and the later games, pretty much the Life is Strange formula is you get powers and you go through a type of situation. And in the first game, our protagonist Max could control time, rewind time, and that's the whole gameplay loop. You can rewind time, do what you want. Your time is at your fingertips. And since this is a prequel and Chloe didn't have powers in the main game, they couldn't just retcon it to have her have some type of broken power like that. So they decided to have something called the fucking backtalk mechanic.
Look at my face. Do I look cute? Or do I look like I'm going to kick your ass?
Yeah, the backtalk mechanic is kind of fucking retarded. Pretty much you just annoy them to the point where they just say, alright, you're good to go. It's kind of fucking dumb. But that's not the end all to be all for why Life is Strange Before the Storm is on this list. It's more depth within the story and the characters, and I will gladly show you what I mean in just a moment. Now, if it was just an in-depth look between Chloe and the trauma with her dad dying and the loss of her best friend and the dynamic of a character I haven't named yet, this would have been fucking pretty fine. Perfect even. But here's where Deck 9 decided to add in its fluff to make it different from Don't Nod's Life is Strange. The game is filled with filler / fuck off things that don't pertain to Chloe, B-plots that just don't add anything to anything ever, and just like at a certain point I'm just like, what are we doing here? Why the fuck is this here? Like, if you took this out, the game would be the exact same but shorter, and honestly that would have made it better. And I get it, they had to add something to, you know, add to the game, but at the same time that this is a prequel, why are you adding 15 new characters that were never mentioned in the first game? Like, it's dumb. And their subplots, they're just all just, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care.
What the fuck are you trying to write, you god?
And it's not even from a place like, oh, they weren't in the first game, so I don't care about them. It's more the fact Chloe in this game doesn't really care about them. It's just, why are they here? If you take them out, seriously, the game will be the exact same but shorter, and that will be for the fucking best. You have a nigga that's in debt to a drug dealer, his little brother gets fucked up by said drug dealer, and then you have a self-insert that wants to fuck Rachel. Oh, did I mention Rachel?
Rachel? Come on!
Oh yeah, that fucking self-insert gets to be a main love interest in their next fucking game, True Colors, and then she gets a standalone DLC. What? No one likes this character. Who the fuck is this for? Now we get to the second half of Life is Strange Before the Storm. Rachel Amber. Rachel Amber is a very important character to the first game and in Before the Storm. But here's the thing about Rachel in the first game. She wasn't there. She was there, but she was kind of fucking dead.
Oh, that smell.
Rachel? Oh, Rachel, no, please not her!
Throughout the entirety of the first game, Chloe would talk about Rachel in a very special light, as in she was there for her and she was something more to her as well. So Before the Storm was also a in-depth look between those two's relationship. And in the first game, you knew something was up from the actions that Chloe would tell you. It was very toxic. Like, before Rachel went missing, / before she fucking died, they had a big fight and Rachel just dipped off on her. And during Max and Chloe's pursuit of trying to find out what happened to Rachel, they found out she was doing a lot of things behind Chloe's back that you wouldn't want your partner to be doing to you. We all know what I'm talking about, right?
Gotta check the database though. Make sure ain't no niggas out there, you know, fucking my bitch.
And all of this sounds really good on paper. The backstory between these two, exploring their dynamic and how it fell apart, it all sounds really, really good. But once again, this wasn't written by Don't Nod, so we can't get the full extent to what it could have been. But more or less, we get a romanticized version, and that's what their dynamic is in this game. A romanticized version of what they were like. And the game does have its moments of showing you how toxic they were, but it's the aftermath of it. It felt a little bit too glossed over, and the game's not even pulling its punches. It's showing you that these people are terrible fucking people, but it's more or less, they're not showing you that their actions have consequences, because more or less half of them get off fucking scot-free. Rachel has done so much fucked up shit. By the way, that's just no small tree fire. No, that ended up spiraling to an entire state fucking burning down, and Chloe never brings it up to Rachel like, hey, you're a fucking asshole for that. It was brought up once that Chloe thinks some type of way about it, that Rachel did that, but never brought it up to Rachel's attention.
So much destruction. All because Rachel got angry at her dad.
Also, this next scene has a bit of a dark comedic effect to me, because the way Rachel died in the first game, she was given a fatal overdose by our local town serial killer, and in Before the Storm, Rachel drugged somebody, and it's played off as a joke.
Time to shine.
Oh, Price,
That was epic! You distracted her just long enough for me to slip those pills into her tea. I did.
And that's how you can tell this game was written by a completely different studio, because the biggest presence in Life is Strange 1 was that girls were being taken advantage of, drugged, and pictures were getting taken of them. Explicit pictures of them without their consent. And just drugging somebody for a joke? Yeah, that's a bit, that's a no-no. And that's pretty much my gripes with this game. The fucking fatal misunderstanding of the source material, the fucking unneeded subplots, the fucking slice of life fluff with side characters we'll never see again, besides fucking self-insert. The whole game just feels pointless. The side characters don't matter, the B-plots don't matter. The only thing that matters is Rachel and Chloe, but then they don't even show Rachel at her worst traits. I feel like they put her in a position where a new fan could play this game first, then play the main game so they get to know Rachel first, and then find out she was a total fucking bitch. But when you played the first game and heard how she was such and such, and see how in this game it's like, what the fuck? Now, before we go, I want to show you guys why I think this game does have some good in it. And what this game does best at is focusing on Chloe and her struggles with losing her dad. I'm going to play a clip now. It's probably going to be a little too long, but I want to really sell the idea of like what this game is really fucking good at.
None of this is real. You're not real. Rachel's family isn't real. This whole thing, it's all just theater. But I don't want to be an actor. I just want to be myself. Give me a break.
Well, maybe there's a reason we pretend. Maybe the lies we tell each other are less horrible than the truths we keep hidden.
Wow. That's pretty dark, Dad.
Where do you think you get it from? There's my cue. Chloe, look at me. Look at me, sweetheart. It's going to be okay.
See, it's not so bad, is it? It's pretty good. It's a good game. And a woman is in it.
I don't know who broke into the writer's room, but every scene with Chloe and her dad, or hell, just Chloe herself coming to terms with who she is fucking good. So my closing thoughts on Life is Strange Before the Storm are pretty much, it has some really high highs, but some really down lows. Not the lowest in the series, Double Exposure and True Colors exist, but that's pretty much all I gotta say. And I think it's about time we wrap up this long ass video. Hello again, people. Just wanted to thank you all for watching, and sadly I have to announce this might be my last video for a while. I want to get back to music, and I've had fun with these two little videos, but I gotta get back to my real passion, you know. But don't lose hope, because one day I might come back and finish the trilogy of this series. But until then, my name's IZANAGI. Thank you all for watching. It's been real. Peace.